Tonight, a cyber boost for Wyalla's education precinct with a link to superfast internet and an emergency simulation to get SES crews ready in case of a disaster.
This is Southern Cross News with Tim Hatfield.
Good evening, but first tonight, Broken Hill Council has voted to apply for a $10 million loan to improve the city's infrastructure. Council says the loan is essentially cost neutral, with the return on investment covering the 3% interest rate.
Despite some debate against the motion, Council voted in favour of seeking the $10 million loan at Wednesday night's Council meeting. Years ago, Council wouldn't have been considered for such a loan from the state's Treasury Corporation due to its deficit budget. Now, though, Broken Hill can apply.
We're in a much better financial position. We're looking at it. It will still be up to the Minister, but we've actually have a plan in place to make sure that we have a repayment system. More importantly, we're investing in the infrastructure.
The interest rate for the loan stands at 3%. But Council says interest earned on investments will cover that cost.
What Council has done is looked at an investment package about how we could grow that money. It's looking at an 8% growth each year, and we'll be using that money not only to pay back the loan but to invest in our infrastructure.
Some councillors argued that there were not detailed plans on what the money would be spent on and voted against the motion. Mayor Turley said Council is working on a list of works to be done and would inform councillors as soon as it was decided.
Footpaths, our road structure, some of those infrastructures that we're just not going to be able to afford. So the list will come up and it'll be endorsed by council. 3 councillors said they're not happy at this stage. That's called the democratic right, and they expressed their concerns.
The vote was passed 7-3.
We're trying to use the money smartly to make sure that we're delivering the services, paying back the loan, and setting the future for Broken Hill.
Patrick Royenke, Southern Cross News.
Port Augusta residents are being warned to secure their valuables after a spike in residential break-ins this month. Police say they've already arrested 5 men, recovered stolen property, and are urging the community to be vigilant.
Taking the opportunity of an unlocked door or breaking into homes out of the blue, Port Augusta police say they've seen a high number of break-ins this month.
Over the last couple of weeks, police have made 5 arrests in this area, 3 juveniles, 2 adults, including a 24-year-old Port Augusta male who's been remanded in custody, and a 32-year-old male who's been placed on court bail with strict conditions.
A reminder for the community not to be complacent with valuable items.
So we'd ask that people be vigilant about their personal security, and also that if they can record details of valuable items, because when police find property, it makes it much easier for us to be able to reunite the property with the lawful owners.
Police say the number of break-ins in Port Augusta had been small until they noticed an increased number this month.
But we've also had some good arrests, so we're well aware of the issue and taking active steps to prevent it.
Some break-ins have been too close to home, with thieves stealing property with residents indoors.
Once again, it's been a fairly even mix. Sometimes the premises have been insecure or doors have been unlocked. Other times there has been forced entry.
The Port Augusta police say they can advise residents on how to better secure their homes.
Get in touch with our crime prevention section and they can actually come out and do a security audit of your house. So they'll walk around, they can check what your security measures are and give you advice on how to upgrade those.
AMELIA Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Whyalla will be one of 2 regional centres to gain access to superfast broadband internet. Gig City runs at speeds 100 times faster than normal speeds, with the city's education and business sectors set to benefit.
Gig City reaches speeds of 1 gigabit a second and has been developed to create digital hubs in the city. Whyalla, along with Mount Gambier, is now set to log on, with the local MP excited about the prospects.
For instance, in your high school here, you had someone that played violin, and someone in California playing the cello. It would be almost in perfect sync.
A connection has been established down Nicholson Avenue and will soon be available to TAFE and other educational institutions along the road. And with the World Wide Web so crucial for businesses, Mr Hughes hopes it makes Whyalla an attractive place for companies.
We attract companies here to make use of that. Can we develop some of our own startups here in Whyalla that could make use of that that spine.
UniSA has had access for a few years, with the campus building stronger partnerships with its metro counterparts. Paul Havelberg from UniSA says it's making Wyler a more attractive place to study.
The opportunity to connect to our other campuses is essential, and the high-speed internet allows us to do that really effectively.
Wyler's mayor has welcomed the new connection, saying she hopes it'll open our city to the world.
We need to have high-speed internet, so I think it's really good. It's a good news story.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Volunteers from the State Emergency Service got some first-hand training during a mass casualty exercise overnight. The Port Lincoln Yacht Club was used as a backdrop for the mock disaster as volunteers took part in a simulation to help train new recruits.
It's the event you hope never happens. Destruction, chaos and panic, people injured and dying. This terrifying scenario was played out overnight, so in the event of the unthinkable, SES recruits are trained to respond.
You come into a situation like this, you don't know what you're going to find, and it's about thinking how are we going to get people out safely.
The simulated mass casualty exercise is designed to help train new SES volunteers to gain real-life experience in the event of something deadly taking place in town.
You never know nowadays what's going to happen. We never know, although we're in Port Lincoln's a reasonably quiet town, things can go wrong very quickly.
These types of situations are practiced commonly throughout the country. Emergency crews are required to locate victims, prioritise their assistance, deliver immediate first aid and coordinate their evacuation.
For us it's very confronting because we've never done this sort of thing before, and although we make lots of mistakes, you also learn a lot from doing it.
The event is overseen by senior officials who highlight the recruits' effectiveness during the drill, so even in the face of the unlikely, there's always someone who is ready.
I hope it'll never happen, but unless you train for it, you won't be prepared when it does happen.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Well, stay with us. Still to come in tonight's local news, a taste test on a Port Lincoln icon getting kingfish ready for the global market. The details ahead. Welcome back. Port Lincoln locals were subjected to a blind taste test of Eyre Peninsula kingfish to evaluate the product after it's frozen. Clean Seas, one of the largest producers of kingfish, is looking to expand their frozen product, exporting it to the world.
Sashimi is one of the fastest growing delicacies in the world. Raw, thinly sliced fish has expanded well beyond the borders of Japan. The long journey for Port Lincoln kingfish can often be challenging, but the solution might well rest with local taste buds. Clean Seas asking the community to spot the difference in a blind taste test before investing millions of dollars into new freezing techniques.
We think this new freezing technology will provide us an opportunity to deliver that product into European markets, also to Asia and the United States, in better condition than, as I said, that's around on the market today.
Locals were asked to rate samples of fish, each frozen differently.
I would hope that the consumers, and indeed some of the professional chefs in Port Lincoln who've been down here this evening, will feed back to us that they can indeed tell the difference between the traditional freezing techniques and the one we're hoping to deploy in the business.
But it's not just the local chefs giving our kingfish high praise.
You see some of the supporters of the kingfish being the top chefs of the world.
The growing kingfish market has seen Clean Seas recently move their operation to Adelaide in an attempt to satisfy global demand.
It's a very large, state-of-the-art new processing facility. It'll be employing quite a lot of people, and it's an opportunity for us to take control of the quality of our product from the harvest all the way through to customers internationally.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
The Port Augusta Library has received $20,000 worth of robots and coding kits to prepare local kids for jobs of the future. Part of the Telstra Foundation's Make a Party in a Box program, 4 primary schools today got the chance to have the first go.
It might seem like these kids are playing, but they're learning coding and programming, what's been described as the skill of the future. They're the first to get their hands on $20,000 worth of robots and kits Telstra has donated to the Port Augusta Library.
And they can actually have a go at it, actually get a feel for it themselves and hopefully get a career in IT or technology somewhere in the future.
I've made this prank handshake so far, but that was super quick, so I'm busy making this robot that will draw for you.
The kits will be kept right here at the Port Augusta Library.
So they're going to be added to our library collection. We will be using them for things like school holiday activities, class groups, if schools come in to visit. We may also be taking them out to the schools to run some sessions.
And for the students, this school trip has come in handy.
So we've been using these electricity things, and today we have a big science test, so this is really helpful for us.
Kids from 4 different schools are here in Port Augusta learning programming and coding with these cool robots and even a Play-Doh piano. Their skills, experts say, will be needed for jobs in the future.
And some of the future jobs haven't even been invented yet, so skills like technology and science and the stuff that the kids are learning today will be invaluable for the jobs of the future.
AMELIA Simpson, Southern Cross News.
The Broken Hill Regional Art Gallery is expecting plenty of art lovers through their doors tonight for the unveiling of the Pro Heart Outback Art Prize finalists. Local, national and even international artists submitted works for the prestigious competition with a record number of entries this year.
The barren and beautiful landscape of the Outback encapsulated in these fine works. The Pro Heart Outback Art Prize has delivered a wide variety of sculptures and paintings, with a first prize that everyone would be after.
So we've got a first prize, which is a $15,000 acquisitive prize, so that actually then becomes part of the Broken Hill Regional Art Gallery permanent collection.
No matter where you look, you're bound to spot something eye-catching. Whether it be a gigantic mixture of colour taking up a whole wall, a beautiful canvas artwork, or a pile of bricks and a kangaroo skin?
On first inspection it's a kangaroo skin, but when you actually have a look up close it's all completely carved out of wood, the bricks and the kangaroo skin, so quite a beautiful piece. There's another wood sculpture in as well, glass work, bronze work, so there's all sorts of different mediums.
Over 260 entries from artists close to home and right around the world were submitted for the competition. Judges had to narrow it down to 47 that now hang in the gallery.
Well, last year there was around 200, so we're up quite a bit this year, so that's great.
And if you missed tonight's opening, don't worry.
So this will be up until the 13th of August here at Broken Hill Regional Art Gallery. We've also got 2 great local shows upstairs as well. So Warren Sloan's got a solo show and the Broken Hill Potters Society have a group show as well.
Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
Well, stay with us. When we return after the break, netball stars mix it with Whyalla locals in the hunt for future champions. The details ahead. Welcome back. 3 players from the Adelaide Thunderbirds made a visit to Whyalla last night to meet the next generation of netball stars. And one lucky club will see them again in 6 weeks for a coaching clinic as part of a competition.
Once they dreamed of playing in the big time. Now 3 Thunderbirds had the chance to inspire Whyalla's rising netball players. Karen Bailey, Hannah Petty and Jamaican captain Malaysia Kelly took time out to sign autographs and speak with local fans at a function last night.
There's definitely quite a few girls coming through like I would have been, keen netballers, and love the opportunity to come and meet Thunderbirds.
Hannah hails from Woodner, about 200 kilometres north of Whyalla. Despite her team finishing last in the league, she's had a breakthrough 2017, with Hannah heading to Botswana next month for the World Youth Cup. But she's enjoying her time back on her home court, saying netball in the region helped kick-start her professional career.
I've done so much for netball, and to get back here and appreciate and give back to the community is really helpful, and I really enjoy coming back home as well.
The girls were in town as part of a competition, which will see the Whyalla club that has the most votes win a 2-hour coaching clinic with the Thunderbirds later this year. John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
The Emergency Service Workers' Big Day Out is happening this weekend in Port Pirie, recognising all of the hard work volunteers and workers put into the community. With free kids entertainment, rides and singer John Shimon performing, Sunday is set to be a good chance to say thanks to those who give back to their communities.
Celebrating those who put their lives on the line for others, the Emergency Services Workers' Big Day Out is a chance to say thank you to all the dedicated workers who serve in the community.
Thank you to all those people who work for us so tirelessly and selflessly.
When storms hit in the region, volunteers and workers work non-stop responding to calls of help.
Just working crazy hours, and you know, it's a lot of it's all life-risking jobs, a lot of it.
The festival salutes everyone who puts their own life at risk in order to help those in need.
To recognise all the hard work and dedication that all the volunteers and emergency services workers do.
The family-friendly event has live entertainment all day and there's rides to keep the kids occupied. It's all happening on Sunday at Woodward Park in Port Pirie. Gates open at 10 a.m. and you can purchase your tickets online or at the door with cash.
We're relying on, the community which aren't with emergency services to buy a $20 ticket and come in the gate. Kids are free no matter what.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Well, time now to see who our tipsters are backing this round. Here's this week's footy tips.
Hello and welcome to round 9 of SGL football. We start this round up in Port Augusta with West taking on Port. Both teams are coming off losses, with Port conceding 31 goals to South last week. West went down to Central and will look to bounce back this week. I'm tipping West. The other Saturday match is the match of the round, with top place Solly taking on second place South at Port Oval in Pirie. Solly's only loss of the season was against South, with South running over the top of the Cats with a strong last quarter. This game will be a beauty. I'm tipping Solly in a close one. Sunday sees the Lions head to Port Augusta to take on Central. Central had their second win of the season last week and will come into this match with some much needed confidence. The Lions showed plenty in their loss to Solly last week and will be confident they can get the job done against Central. I'm tipping the Lions.
Welcome to Wyler football. Should be 3 close games this weekend. First up at Bennett Oval on Saturday, it's North Wyler versus Central Wyler, second versus third. Big opportunity for Centrals here. They're more than capable of winning this game, but North haven't been doing too much wrong and they should be able to win this one there. Saturday's other game at Memorial Oval, it's West Wyler versus Marina Bay, first versus fourth. Again, the Bay sitting in the finals, looking good, but they take on a West team who haven't lost a game in over a year and a half, and they have to be favourites. And finally, on Sunday at Bennett Oval, it's South Wyler versus Rapina, probably actually the match of the round, given how close this should be. Roos are doing way better than their bottom of the ladder position suggests, but South did play well against top team West, and I think the Demons should win.
Welcome to Port Lincoln Footy Tips. We kick off this round at Wongaree with Marble Range taking on Mallee Park. Marble Range are celebrating 60 years in A-grade football, and even though Mallee Park are undefeated, I think the big crowd at Wongaree this weekend might get them over the line. I'm tipping Marble Range by 2 goals. In the next game, we see Lincoln South head to Poole Oval to take on Boston's. Boston's haven't got a win, and Lincoln South have been struggling over the past month, but I think Lincoln South are going to get back on the winning circle and win this one by 5 goals. In the last game, we have Tasman's heading to Centenary Oval to take on Waybacks. This should be a really close game with both teams in good form. Tasman's got a few players back, and I'm actually tipping Tasman's this week in an upset. Tasman's by 4 goals.
Round 11 of Broken Hill football, and you know what? I'm picking an upset. North are travelling to Memorial Oval. First time in 2 years they've been there. They've got a depleted team. They've only lost 2 games for the year, but they don't look flash on paper. Central last week showed, given the right opportunity, they're capable of playing a good quarter or a good half of footy. If they can string 4 quarters together tomorrow, they can beat North on their home turf. At Jubilee Oval, well, a different kettle of fish. South, who've only lost 1 game for the season, take on West, who've only won 1 game for the season. South welcome back a plethora of stars, premiership stars, Drew Hardy, Jordan Johns, Arlen Bird. It'll be a miserable afternoon for the Westies. They need to try hard, they need to battle, they need to show discipline to even make a dent in the South machine. South to win easy, and in the upset of the season, Central to beat North.
Well, stay with us. After the break, we'll have a look at your local weather for the weekend and into next week as well. Welcome back. Turning to the weather now, and first tonight's weather photos snapped by Lucy Jane at the Point Lowly Lighthouse with some stormy clouds moving past as well. If you have a weather photo to share, you can email it into us. A fine Friday today with 17 the top for Port Augusta and 16 in Whyalla. Port Pirie also 17 today, clearing showers and 18 for Port Lincoln. Broken Hill fine on 14. On the national satellite, as the high moves easterly, we'll have a day or two of mainly clear skies. Out on the Gulf waters, the winds to 20 knots and to the south, the seas to 2 metres and southerly. Sunrise at 25 minutes past 7. So sunshine across the board for your Saturday after a cool and frosty start. 17 for Port Augusta and 16 for Whyalla. Port Pirie also 17 degrees, 18 in Port Lincoln, 15 for Broken Hill. Then looking at Sunday, Port Lincoln will see a change, showers and 18 before a wet and windy Monday. 17 the top in Cleve with showers into next week as well, much the same for Woodner. Whyalla fine and 17 on Sunday with showers and 16 on Monday, similar over in Kadina. Much the same for Port Augusta, but 17 both days as those showers return. Port Pirie fine and 17 on Sunday as well, then wet and windy for Monday with 16 degrees, similar for Clare 14 and 13. Broken Hill a sunny 18 for Sunday, and then a windy day expected on Monday. And that is the local news for this evening and for the week as well. Don't forget you can stay up to date with us on Facebook and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email and catch past bulletins on YouTube and on our website. We'll see you back here on Monday night from 6:30. Until then, I'm Tim Hatfield from the Southern Cross News team. Have a good evening and a great weekend as well. Good night.